Hello everyone, my name is Leander Farhad. I own and operate an AI agency called n8n, and today I'm going to show you how to build an AI email assistant. Whether you're a professional or business owner that struggles with their email, or you also own an AI agency and you want to sell this as a product, I got you covered. So let's not waste any time, let's get straight into it. So first you're going to open your n8n, then you're going to create a new workflow. We're going to create a Gmail trigger. Here it is, Gmail on message received, and we're gonna need to create some credentials. So I already have my credentials created, but for the sake of this test, I will create some new ones. Go into new credentials. Gmail, you can actually connect it very easily, so you just have to sign in with Google. Once you've done this, you wanna save as the name of your email. So me, it was test email, so I'm gonna save it as test.n8n. So that way, if you're using different credential, you don't get confused. So save. So we've successfully created a credential. Next thing I want to touch down on is the poll time. That means how many times a day your automation will trigger. So essentially, we're looking for a sweet spot of around one time every 30 minutes. That would equal to about 1,488 execution monthly, which is a sweet spot, knowing that with the standard plan, you only get 2,500 executions. 30 to 20 minutes would be a sweet spot. So the way we'll do this is that we'll click on every X. We're at 30. Testing the workflow. There we go. Next, we need to classify our email. We're going to head over to Gmail. Here, we're going to create our labels. First label, client inquiry. Then we want internal. Then we want personal. Maybe we want marketing emails. So that can be dealt with as well. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so bear with me a second. I know it's a bit of a detail, but I do like to add a color to different labels. You don't have to do this, I'm just doing it, but yeah. Here we are. So once we have our labels, we're gonna head over to n8n again, and we're gonna create a classifier. That is going to classify our different emails so that we can assign an action to each different categories of emails. Text classifier. Here we need to link it to our OpenAI chat model. So we'll need to create some credentials for that as well. To do this, just head over to OpenAI platform, click API keys, and create a new password key. So here you are, you'll create your secret key. It'll give it to you, and then you'll just have to copy it and paste it into here. And as easy as that, you created your credentials. Now we're gonna look for our text to classify. We're gonna switch over to expression, subject, and here we're gonna look for the subject over in schema. Here it is. Then the email body is email body. We're gonna look for the snippets. Here it is, if access. So then we want to create our different categories. So here, client inquiry, and then we're going to describe it. This is an email of a client that has an inquiry or wants to communicate. Next. This is an email for co-worker. Here it is. Next category is marketing emails. This is an email trying to sell me something. Last but not least, personal. So that would be any emails from friends or family. Next, we're gonna add a label to all of these different categories. Let's start with client inquiries here. We're gonna look for Gmail, add label to message. So we already have our credentials here. Resource, message, operation, add a label. Here we're gonna look for the message ID. So the message ID is in the trigger. We're gonna drag it over here. There we are. Then we're gonna select our label name. So for this one, client inquiry. Same here, inquiry. So we're gonna repeat the same process for all of these emails. So what we can do as well is that we can just duplicate. Just plug it here, change the name, internal, change the label here. Internal, there we are. Same thing, we can just duplicate and duplicate. Here we are. So we're gonna link marketing. Here we are. There we are. as personal. And then we're gonna change the label name one last time, personal. Here we are. Let's tidy up. There we go. Here we have all of our labels, nice and neat. So what we want to do next is assign an action to all of these categories. It could be a direct reply, it could be creating a draft, leave the marketing email as read. So we got quite a lot of options. It's not just replies. So let's not waste any time. So for client inquiries, we're going to link it to an LLM node. So in that case, it's going to be an OpenAI node. Here we're going to go into messenger model. We already have our OpenAI credentials. Here we are, we'll choose our model 4.1 mini, here it is. Here we'll create a basic system prompt. You're an intelligent bot at replying to client emails. Please sign off with an email as follows, best Leander. Here you can put your client policies and FAQs. So that's a very important prompt. I recommend that if you have specific requirements for your company or for your profession, definitely edit this part and just put your client policies and FAQs into it. So that's the system message. Here we're gonna add a user message. This is the email. So we're gonna go into expression. We're gonna need the subject, the email, body, and the person that sent the email. So this email is from. So we're gonna look for that inside of our schema. So here, trigger, here's our subject, here's our snippets, and here, item from, the item come from. Here we are. And finally, we're gonna add one last message. We'll basically ask it to format it as JSON. So please format the data in JSON format. There we go. That's bracket, subject, line, space, tag, email, body, space, tag, close the bracket. Let's execute this. So actually, before you carry on, there's one mistake that you need to correct. So just here, I want you to add a bracket here, there, and I want you to click output content as JSON so that we can get the email body. And also this is a system message. So we want to test this out. So what we're going to do is that we're going to send ourselves an email from another email account and see how it works. So here we are in our other email inbox. So we're going to send it over to this new email that we created, and we're going to send the simplest client inquiry we can think of. I need help with your products. Can you help? So we send that over. We're gonna go over to our other email. So we've received the email. Here it is. I need help with your product. Now we're gonna test the workflow. So execute the workflow. So here we have tested the workflow. Here it is. It's created a reply. Hello, thank you for reaching out. I'd be happy to assist. So the reply is created by the AI. Now we want to send the reply. So here we're gonna go into Gmail. We're gonna look for reply to a message. Here we are. We already got a credential, message, reply. So the message ID that will be in the trigger. So we're gonna go into schema and look for the ID. Here it is. Gmail trigger item, here we are. And the message we're gonna send. We don't want content, otherwise it will display as this. What we want is just the email body. That's the message. And here we're gonna test the workflow now. So we'll send over a message, a client inquiry to our email. Here we'll send it over, there we are. And the message has been replied to. Let's verify inquiry. Here we are. Can you help me? Hello, thanks for reaching out. Yes, I am here to help you. Could you please provide more details about your inquiry? Best, Leander. Perfect. So we've automated our client inquiries. Now we're going to automate on internal and personal. So for internal and personal, let's say we don't want to directly reply. Let's say we just want to create a draft that we can review and then reply to. So let's do this. So here what we're going to do is that we're actually going to duplicate our message model. and duplicate again. Here they are. And we'll link it. This one to internal. And this one to personal. Here we are. And here, instead of sending a reply, we'll just create a draft. So we're gonna need a test event for this. So let's test it. So let's say we want to test internal. So review the latest documents. Here we are. So we'll send that over. Execute our workflow. Turn this off. Identified it as an internal message. We're gonna pin this. Here we are, to just use it again. Now we can turn this back on. Here we are. So our subject line, here it is. Our message, it's the email body. And we're gonna add a few options. So we're gonna go into add options, thread ID. We'll get our thread ID from our trigger. Here it is, thread ID. That's the right one. And then to email to know who we're gonna send it to. So we'll get that from our trigger as well. We're on the from, because that's who sent us the message, so that's who we wanna reply to. Let's test this step. Here we are. If we go over into our emails, you can see that the draft has been created. Yes, I have reviewed the latest document. Let me know if you need any further output. And then we can just send it. And there we are. Same thing for personal. I'm just going to duplicate what I've just done. So here we are, duplicate. There we are. And finally, for marketing emails, you might want to just leave them as read. So what you would do is just create another Gmail node. Mark a message as read. Here it is. And then we'll just paste the message ID from the Gmail trigger. As simple as that. So here we are. This is how you create an AI email assistant. I hope that this tutorial has been very useful for you, and I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with it. That was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Peace.